Without wasting any further time, please allow me to welcome onto stage the current chairperson of SANEF, Ms. Nwabisa Makunga, who's going to be giving us a lay of the land and an expectation, a tone for tonight. As always, she looks lovely. Let's give her a warm round of applause as she comes up on stage.
Thank you. Ooh. Yeah. Sorry, I just need to get my self-sorted. Wow, Kathy, thank you so much. You look lovely yourself, by the way, and thank you so much for always being here with us. And thank you to everybody who is here. I just want to greet the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, Judge Mulamela. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We just really had a very interesting conversation outside in the holding room about the media, the role of the media, the performance of the media, and whether or not we can be trusted. Very, very interesting conversation, which I think she'll probably share a lot more on that later on. The ABSA Group Chief Marketing Officer, Mr. Sidney Mbele, as well as your colleagues, all our sponsors who have made this event possible for us. Thank you so much for always being here to support us. Your support of this organization, I want to affirm that it really goes a long way to strengthening the craft of journalism, the service that we do, our constitutional democracy, and really promoting a transparent society. My colleagues at SANEF, our Deputy Chair, Chamano Makadi, the SANEF Executive and Council, and of course, our colleagues in our office who are led by our Executive Director. Thank you again for all your hard work in having made this beautiful evening happen. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we gather for the last of our annual public calendar events for SANEF. And perhaps I should say what a year it has been for all of us. Our country marked 30 years of our democracy. Many of us as individuals, communities, and institutions reflected on the journey that we've traveled in the last 3 decades. We reflected on the progress of the democratic project, the fundamental rights that we all have that define our freedom, our responsibility, and our coexistence. We reflected on our nation's development, the structure of our economy, the landscape of our society more broadly. We certainly are not where we were as a nation, and for that we should be grateful. But colleagues, we certainly are not where we ought to be, and for that we all must account. We pondered as SANEF and various other institutions on the concept of access, how it shapes our trajectory, access or lack thereof to information, to opportunities, to systems that define or decide our sustainability and our future. In the media space this year was a reminder of the important role that we play and the role we ought to play in the public information system. This role was perhaps best captured by the Supreme Court of Appeal, now led by our esteemed guest of honor, when the court in 2017 affirmed our freedom of expression and described the relationship between the media and society as follows. The right of the media, or the freedom of expression, is one of a web of mutually supporting rights that hold up the fabric of our constitutional order. The right is not limited to the right to speak, but it is also the right to receive information and ideas. The media hold a key position in society. They are not only protected by the right of freedom of expression, but they are also the key facilitator and guarantor of this right. The media's right to freedom of expression is therefore not just or even primarily for the benefit of the media. It is for the benefit of the public. Close quote. Colleagues, SANEF believes that in order for us as journalists and media practitioners to play this role meaningfully, journalism has quite a lot to get right, but I just want to touch on 3 things that we do need to get right. 1, we must develop the right skills to respond to the information needs of our society. We must promote access to information more broadly. And of course, we must remain sustainable. SANEF recognizes that much more needs to be done to capacitate newsrooms and individual media practitioners to do the work accurately, fairly, and with the level of depth and nuance that helps us all make sense of our world. This is partly what we were talking about in the holding room, about just how we do our work and how that work actually impacts society. Many times we get it right, and I'm proud to say that. But there are times where we get it wrong, and we need to account for that. But to do this right as an industry, we must be proactive, have foresight, and make the necessary interventions. And I think this is the work that SANEF has been really grappling with over time. And I think having the privilege of leading this organization for a few months now, I've seen really the important work that we need to do to ensure that we play the role we need to play for society in a way that is meaningful and impactful. So take this year's election, for example. Many newsrooms had to contend with the difficult reality to cover South Africa's most complex, most contested election with significantly fewer teams and the least amount of collective institutional experience, and to throw a spanner in the works at a time when disinformation, electoral disinformation, was perhaps at its highest. This is why SANEF invested in training workshops across the country, as well as developing our information portal to capacitate our newsrooms to be able to do this work. And I really want to thank all our colleagues and partners, including the Electoral Commission, who really made this work possible for us. The industry, the feedback that we've received from the industry was quite meaningful, so thank you. Similarly, we also recognize that we need to get the South African media landscape fit for purpose. If we're to do that, we need to partner with various players to build technical and reporting capacities for areas of public interest. So for example, be it financial journalism, and you've seen some of the work that we've done as far as fellowships for financial journalism, be it climate change, which is one of our most pressing challenges that we have to grapple with, or even reporting on indigenous languages. And I think in this respect, we're quite grateful for the partnership that we're developing with academia, the University of the Northwest, essentially saying to us, we will help you develop a curriculum, academic program that helps reporters really be able to report in indigenous languages. And the reason why that is important is because we firmly believe in the principle of making information accessible to the public. We need to broaden accessibility of information and making sure that South Africans are able to make informed decisions about their life. We are pleased to report on this vein, colleagues, that SANEF has consistently said one of the things we need to do is support community media. And I think a lot of the work that we've done this year, really kind of focused on that. A program to support community media across the country with relevant tools and expertise to conduct their businesses sustainably has benefited no fewer than 15 organizations to date. This is people powered by how much you support SANEF and what we are able to do for colleagues in that space. 35 other entities have been given access to this model to ensure that they're able to actually self-develop. And I really, again, want to express my sincere gratitude to our office as well as all the other colleagues who've made this work possible. We keep talking, and we'll forever talk about the sustainability of journalism. It is truly our most pressing mandate, yes, in South Africa, but essentially across the globe. As a result, many of you would have seen us. We've begun to knock on your doors to get some support for the establishment of our Journalism Sustainability Fund. Some of you would have seen in the media, we've really started to talk about it. We've started to have conversations with different stakeholders to ensure that we get the support to get the fund going. This fund is to support public interest journalism through grants and to ensure that the work that we do is no longer vulnerable to the economic complexities that face us as media practitioners. A significant amount of work has gone into this project to get it up and running. Our office, together with our lawyers, are really making sure that we tick all the boxes in ensuring that we adhere to our laws as well as our fiduciary duties as an institution as we continue to set up these structures. We've been really humbled by the support that we've received from various organizations who are committed and who really want to see journalism thrive in South Africa. I personally am immensely grateful for all the support that I have received from our colleagues, particularly in the last year as we continue to lead this project. I think perhaps many of them would be here. Isaac, Reggie at our office, Sbu. These are people who've really kind of carried this work to ensure that we get it over the line. And colleagues, I want to say that your efforts are not in vain. Absolutely not. They're essential building blocks, laying the foundation of a better future for journalism. A future that serves the South African public with agility, excellence, and credibility. Ladies and gentlemen, none of this work is possible without you supporting this organization, without you supporting the craft of journalism. And so today I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for all that you do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for ensuring us that every single step we take in protecting this craft that we love so much, we do have good backing from yourselves. And we really wish you every success and prosperity in your work and the endeavors that you've taken. Thank you very much for keeping journalism alive. Have a good evening.